Hi everyone, we're up to box 8, but in reality, it's a binder. Well, it's a binder and a small box. So this binder is really big and really heavy. It's about 13 by 19 inches and it weighs 21 pounds. I weighed it. So it's a mixture of things. Not very many antiques, but this is Queen Victoria, and I think it's called um, the famous queens and Martha Washington from the 1880s, I believe. So again, it's a big variety of things which Sylvia liked to do. This is from Sylvia Kleindinst's collection, and she put a lot of things in binders. Uh, this is the only binder that is this humongous. These are Sandy Vanderpool's things. So as usual, when I have time, I've got Tom Tierney. This is Helen Page from probably Contemporary Doll Collector magazine. Not sure. That's a Christmas card over there, I believe. No, that might have been, that's Contemporary Doll Collector as well. So as I have time, I will list them on paperdollreview.com. Here are some advertising paper dolls over on the left there. Usually where they provide the head and then the front and back outfit goes over the top of the head. So it might be like, Hood's sarsaparilla, Clark's. I see a Clark here, Clark's thread. Okay, this is Kathy Lawrence over here. This is Queen Holden's daughter. Queen Holden was the most published paper doll artist in the 30s into the 40s, and her daughter worked for American Greetings, and she also had a few paper dolls published, and she just did the sweetest faces. And here are more of those advertising paper dolls. I don't know if Sylvia ever had these arranged in a tidy fashion at one point and they jumbled up, but right now they're a jumble. And more of a jumble, has a little title, Winnie Winsome, from Raphael Tuck. Oh, over here is, this is Elizabeth Taylor by Ralph. And what he would do sometimes is when he had a customer who would order often, he would sometimes include original art. So this is his original line art over here. He would just include it as a bonus. This is one of Sylvia's own paper dolls, inspired by the Jean doll, designed by Mel Odom. Peggy Jo Rosamond. This is dated 1991, so these things could be all of the similar era put out in the early 90s, because Sylvia would sometimes operate that way, just put things in a binder, although she may have purposefully put things in this larger binder, which could be from a larger time frame. Sid Charisse, one of Ralph's endless classic Starr paper dolls. This is more by Ralph. This is Anna Held over on the left by Sandy Vanderpool. Leslie Caron by Ralph. It's a very sweet Pat Stahl paper doll. And I've seen this before. Just a really incredible illustration, painting, I guess, by Irene Ingalls, done in 1994. Glory Days Remembered is what it's called, but I don't know where it came from. I don't know the name of being part of our paper doll community, but it's definitely appealing. It's a beautiful print and would frame very well. Barb Rausch. Barb was one of the artists for Katie Keene. Okay, so why does Sylvia have Jello ads in her binder? Well, that's because Rose O'Neill, can you see her very distinctive signature with these long drippy letters here, here, and she is the artist who did the oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Wait, I'm coming up to it. Here we go. The Cupies. So anyway, there's one of her Cupie paper doll books. This looks like one of the originals. And here, yeah, she did so many little Cupies in, I don't remember which magazine. Let me see if it says. No, sorry. Okay, now here's another random paper doll by Tom. That why he did a paper doll of grandson of President Benjamin Harrison, I don't know. Maybe it had to do with one of the paper doll conventions, being in a state where this child was from. Hard to say. Okay, and this is a little blurb about the Cupies and Rose O'Neill. Okay, here's some color copies of the Muni Opera dressagraphs. So a lot of the stage stars were presented as paper dolls. There's little Shirley Temple. These are more color copies. Okay, now here's a whole mess of Tillie the Toiler cutouts. I'm not seeing any dates pop out. 1940s, I would guess. And there's the full comic, Tillie the Toiler in her fabulous outfit. Well, there's Brenda's Marie Taglioni. We just featured that in our current Paper Doll Review magazine issue, which is at the printer at the moment. Oh, this is by Brenda too. Really nice. She did a lot of paper dolls for the doll magazines. This one is called Doll Life from 1992. I don't have a recollection of the magazine called Doll Life. Okay, nice Dolly Dingle. There's another Brenda magazine set. Brenda did about 100,000 bride paper dolls. And here she is herself as a bride. She got married in 1993, I believe. And this is one of Brenda's paper dolls. Oh, this is a Brenda section we've got going on here. Brenda Starr by Dale Messick. This is fantastic. Brenda Starr as a bride. I think I mentioned before we want to do a series, well, not a series, but an article in the magazine on oddly posed paper dolls. And I think this would apply. So many of the comic paper dolls, like this one, have an odd pose, which is a design challenge of how do you make those costumes work. And the comic book artist did not seem to have a problem with that. John Axe. Okay, here is Sylvia. It was from Buffalo. Well, not originally, but there's where she lived her whole adult life pretty much in Buffalo area. And here's the Prince Charles and Lady Diana headlines of their wedding. So that was, let's see. I'm not sure why this is stuck in here because they got married in the 80s, but I don't know why she put, probably because this was a large binder. I know some of you are probably yelling at me because you know exactly the date and the year they got married. Some Helen Page things, some of Marilyn's early self-published sets. This became a paper doll book for Shackman, so this must be one of her prototypes, perhaps. It's also by Marilyn Henry, another Marilyn Henry early self-published set that we reissued through Paper Doll Review. Oh, here's a nice note from Bill Wagon to Sylvia. Oh, we have a big blank section. Okay, now I've got a lot of these in this binder. Tom Tierney did a series of paper doll awards to prominent people in the paper doll community. And this was probably, I would say, late 80s, very early 90s. So this was the OU Kid Award. They are not dated. So I just can't be sure when they would have been given out at a convention. But yeah, these were the early players in the paper doll community. Janie Barcelona, Zelda Kushner, Jim Ferrone, of course, was connected very much with the doll community. Barbies, fashion doll makeovers. And now we go antique again. This must be one of the dress-a-dolls kind of stuck in here. Not a dress-a-doll, but a round robin. Here's some beautiful artwork by Bruce Patrick Jones. So in the 80s and early 90s, this is dated 1989 by Sandy Vanderpool. The artists were working primarily in ink, just black and white line art, because color copying was just not accessible or expensive or difficult to access, and the quality was iffy. So, you know, you could get black and white copies made, but you had to be a skillful artist, and most of those artists started their careers as fashion illustrators doing their work in line art. So here's some Jim Ferrone paper dolls. I think I see a date of 1990 on there, so these would be early color copies. And of course, when you get in a magazine like these, you had your work put in color. Here we are back to Brenda. This would be for the 1993 Paper Doll Convention in Newport, I would presume. This is more Jim Ferrone. It's dated 1992. Back to Ralph Hodgdon. Ralph lived right in the center of Boston, so his access to early color copying would have been more feasible for him than maybe some other people. Big set of Paulette Goddard here by Ralph. Here's another award series that Tom did for artists. Excellence in Paper Doll Art. Bruce Jones, Brenda Sneathen. She wasn't Brenda Sneathen Mattox on the tab, so maybe this was late 80s, early 90s. Helen Page. John Darcy Noble, who was an extraordinary artist. Well, I did not know that Sylvia Shannon was an artist, so that's Betty Wells. She did a lot of animals. Marilyn Henry, John Axe, Barb Rausch, Sandy. And now we're back to Ralph. Big Jackie Kennedy set. Okay, his Marie Antoinette is one of his largest sets ever. Gone with the Wind is, of course, the biggest. I think he has a humongous Princess Diana, but Marie Antoinette is humongous. This was probably a souvenir at the Newport Paper Doll Convention. It's dated 1993. Yep, here's more from Newport. Another little bit of original art by Ralph Hodgdon. Here's a Rich Rusnock set. Okay, you may have seen this in a previous video, but let me pull this out. Again, this is not dated, and it makes me miserable because I can't play some of these. So at one point, Brenda, was it Brenda? No, Marilyn did a paper doll of Tom, and then a whole bunch of artists, look, a date, 1994. A whole bunch of artists did outfits for Tom's paper doll. It may have been a significant birthday for him. I'm not sure. Another self-published by Marilyn. Ralph's Jeanette MacDonald. Okay, and there's a Jim Ferrone. So let me move this 21-pound binder out of the way. Actually, I'll move it even further out of the way and get the stack. So this box that I'm going to show you now is all Sandy Vanderpool stuff. Combination of black and white and color in here. Sylvia, Sandy, and Brenda were all very, very close, very dear friends, and they were just great admirers of each other's work. And that's something that's really special in our paper doll community, that paper doll artists just really supported each other. They often had ongoing trades with their new paper dolls, what would come out, or just regularly purchase everything that another artist would do. There just wasn't competition, and artists would freely give tips and how-tos for other artists, beginning artists, to improve their work. Seems like most artists have done Scarlett O'Hara. One of the convention souvenirs. This is all the way from 2017 when we had our 60s convention in Philadelphia. Now, here's the thing. Sandy wore all of these outfits during the convention. She did, and she did a paper doll of herself with those outfits. I mean, amazing. So we lost Sandy soon after that. Oh, envelope. Oh, here she has, oh look, it's a slide-in doll. What are the costumes like? There are other costumes you cut out. But the doll slides in to create a presentation on the cover. Sandy's someone who would really, really research her Hollywood costumes, you know, contacting libraries and the Academy, I believe. I forget which Hollywood movie resource she could get a hold of and have them research film archives to look up the costumes and find the color notes on them, because the black and white movies, you had no idea what those clothes were in color, so most artists just made them up. But Sandy would go through a lot of effort to find out what they were for real. I adore bridge tallies, and I think this is cool to do a paper doll based on bridge tallies. Yeah, the color copies are a little bit faded back then. Aw. 2003. One of her holiday cards. Clever. This is pretty great. I don't remember seeing this one. Here's original art for Betty Grable Pinup Girl. I would presume that this was donated as a raffle item. And Sylvia was the winner. This would probably be worth publishing as a book or a loose page set. Paper Doll Review, me, has exclusive rights to publish Sandy Vanderpool's art. And sadly, there are a lot of eBay sellers who are making illegal copies of her work and selling them. Same with Marilyn Henry's and so many other artists. I even came across an Etsy seller who was selling digital copies of one of Eileen Rudisil Miller's books that we published just a few years ago, and they just scanned it in and are selling PDF copies of it. And I turned them in, but last I checked, it was still there. I've done the same thing with eBay, and it doesn't seem to make a difference. You know, you send cease and desist notices, lawyers have been brought in, but they just keep doing it. This is a humongous set, isn't it? Oh wait, it's two, maybe it's two sets that were packaged back to back. I better put that I better put that back. So Sandy lived in Colorado throughout her adult life, so there's a lot of Colorado characters in her paper dolls. This might have been done for the there's a Denver paper doll convention. I don't remember what year that was. These are dated 1995. This was an insert for one of the Optag issues, I believe. Or maybe not. That one wasn't, but maybe it was one of the doll magazines. I can't remember now. Well, this is timely. I was just watching this movie. Oh, all the ladies. Oh, for Pete's sake. We just did a feature on Joan Fontaine. And it's gone to press, but here we are with her included in this book. This happens with every issue. I send the issue to press, and then I find really great material that could have gone with an article. This is one of my favorite dresses ever, worn by Rosalind Russell in that movie, with the eyeballs on the top. This is one of Sandy's sets where you can set up a little room. She did a number of those. Fabulous 1930s stars. I can just show you a few costumes here. And here's one of the books we published through Paper Doll Review of Sandy's. This she did for Hobby House Press. Yes. What's the date? 1994. At the time, Dover was pretty much exclusively publishing paper doll books by Tom Tierney. So some artists like Sandy Vanderpool, Norma Lumian, John Axe, Charlotte Watley had their work published by Hobby House Press. And then they went out of business along the way. And then Paper Studio Press, my company, came along around 2008. This was done in 2017. Yeah. So, you know, I picked up all the artists that were, you know, doing paper doll art around that time. Even Tom. So we had an amazing run, and we're, you know, my publishing company is now more, you know, smaller run, more limited edition books than I'm publishing as a Paper Doll Review imprint, because I just don't have the distribution I had in the 2000s into the 2010s, and now in the 2020s. I don't have the wholesale business like I used to have. So, but we keep it going. And of course, we've lost so many of our key artists, like Sandy and Marilyn. Yeah, so Sandy did these exclusively for my publishing company. This is in 2013. And this is my last item for you. So again, just keep an eye on paperdollreview.com. It takes me forever to research and photograph and list these items, and they usually go pretty quickly. So just, you know, pop in now and then. Thank you.